We'll chat about it.
Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV here with Mr. Al Bernstein.
Hi.
We just saw Canelo Alvarez, unanimous decision victory, kind of lopsided over Jermell Charlo.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fight?
Well, listen, he's healthy. He's feeling good. The nagging injuries are not, are kind of taken care of. So he had a really good training camp. And when he's like that and he doesn't have any fatigue in a fight, if you can't hurt him, which it's very hard to do, you have to be a perfect boxer, and that's pretty hard to do. So like somebody like Dimitri Bivol, even Canelo at his best, it's going to be a tricky fight. He might win next time, but I don't know. But if you're anybody below that and you can't box perfectly every second, and it's hard to hurt him. Canelo, Jermell Charlo landed some really good punches, but they just weren't enough to hurt him. So.
That's two back-to-back fights now that have been one-sided. Is it something in the air, or is it just...
That's a good point. Yeah, no, because the Crawford and Spence was obviously more one-sided than anticipated. I don't know. I think it's just a quirk of fate, because the other fight, Crawford and Spence, we certainly expected it to be a little more competitive. This one, it always had the opportunity because he was jumping up 2 weight classes to be more one-sided. But honestly, I think we all thought it was going to be a little more competitive. So I don't know.
Based on what you saw, how do you think Crawford would? Move it up 21 pounds, but what do you think of his chances with?
Well, that's a roughie because I have all the respect in the world for Terence Crawford, but what we saw tonight is an example of the fact that you have to. Terence Crawford is a fantastic boxer. There's no question about that. But he's even, smaller than Jermell Charlo, basically, right? He's coming up from 147. So, I don't know. That's a rough assignment, I think, to come up that much, right, and face this guy now.
What about Benavidez out?
Well, Benavidez is a whole other thing because, the question is this version of Canelo Alvarez. So, Benavidez is going to land a bunch of punches just like Jermell Charlo was able to sometimes. The question is, will those punches hurt Canelo Alvarez and stop him from coming forward, right? Benavidez is a different kind of challenge. I still think that's the fight I would love to see more than any other one.
What chances do you give him of winning that fight, Benavidez?
I don't know.
That's towards him with youth and size.
Pardon?
Do you almost lean towards him, or is it? 50-50?
Well, I think it's a 50-50 fight. That's my feeling. I think that's one of those fights where everybody, and I think that from the boxing fan standpoint, it seems like that's the one everybody really, really, really wants to see.
All week, Canelo Alvarez said that he wanted to prove something to Charlo and to the rest of the world. Do you think he accomplished that tonight with his performance?
He showed. To me, what he showed was that at age 33, he can get himself, when he's healthy, he can get himself in really good shape, not get tired, and be the aggressive pressure fighter that when he's at his best doing that is a very tough man to beat.
It took 10 years for this fight to get made. Do you think
Pardon?
now, I said it took 10 years for this fight to get made pretty much. Do you think
kind of. It wasn't one that was on the brink of being made because he had moved up the weight classes.
I'm just saying, do you think now we're going to start getting the big fights like this
I think
quicker?
we've been getting them. I think that the last 2 years, and this year especially, we've seen most fights made that that you want to see, and now even Usyk and Fury is getting made. It looks like, but you look at all the fights we got made this last year or two. I think it's clearly headed in that direction where most of the fight, you're not going to get every one, obviously, at every time, but most of them are being made, I think.
When we talk about Usyk and Fury, earlier in the week during fight week, we got a chance to spend the day with Francis Ngannou and Mike Tyson. What do you think about Francis Ngannou's chance back with Mike Tyson versus
Tyson Fury? I don't think he's got
Tyson
a very
Fury?
good chance of getting much done against him in a boxing ring. Really, what are the odds? That he can do something really good. He's never boxed, and it just doesn't seem like. I don't know how he could do anything. I'm not. I know he's a wonderful mixed martial artist, but I just can't imagine, how he could be effective against Fury. Maybe there's a way, but I don't know how.
Do you favor Fury to beat Usyk, or other way, or Usyk to win that fight?
Well, I think Fury's going to go in as the favorite because he's a tough matchup for Usyk. Usyk is a fantastic fighter, amazing guy. I mean, tremendous. The fact that he's come up from cruiserweight and been this great at heavyweight is astonishing. But that's a tough matchup for him. He'll go in the underdog. But if there's any guy that might figure out some way of, conniving his way through to figuring out a win, he might be the very guy, although Fury's going to be a big favorite.
Quickly, who do you think about, this is the last one, I guess. Who do you think about Haney versus Regis Prograis?
Oh, that's a great fight. I mean, Regis Prograis had a little off performance in his last fight, but he represents a real challenge to Haney because he's a bigger and a little stronger guy and everything. I think it's going to be an interesting fight, So, I mean, I think you have to. If Regis Prograis can fight like he normally fights, it's a tough fight for Haney. But Haney's a very good fighter. All right, you guys.